Hi, Gracie. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Was the transportation that we provided, was that okay?
Yes, thank you. It was really
Okay.
helpful.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. And how's your week been?
It's been okay, getting through it.
Yeah, how have you been feeling?
Still a little overwhelmed, but
Mhm.
I mean, the ride really did help a lot. I didn't
Oh,
really
good.
have to go out my way to get someone to bring me here.
I'm really glad to hear that. And how's Mr. Pike doing?
He's still the same,
Okay.
but I mean, hopefully he'll be getting better within time.
Okay. Well, in the first session, we talked about what was going on with you, but I just wanted to go more in depth today. And so, as social workers, we gather information so that I can know your whole story and just about you and your husband just as individuals, so that I can just understand you more fully. So I'm not generalizing or I'm trying to give you services that you're not really needing. So is it okay if I take some notes today?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, and also while I'm doing this, I just wanted to let you know that if you're not feeling comfortable answering any of the questions that I ask you, then you can just decline. Some of them might feel too personal, and you can just decline.
Okay.
And also and the purpose for this is so that we can understand what's going on so that we can choose referral services for you that we both see that you need. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So can you tell me about Mr. Pike and just kind of the level of what his stroke was and kind of what is going on with him right now?
Well, pretty much he is immobile.
Mm-hmm.
After the stroke, he can't really do anything. So, he can't get out of bed or, walk around. So, he's really, 100% depending on me.
Okay, so you're having to take care of everything for him.
Mm-hmm.
That must be really hard for you.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Just really time-consuming and just a strain on you, probably physically, too.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel it a little bit more now on my body.
Okay.
Me.
So the care he needs is just very extensive. I mean, are you having to do medical care for him as well? Give him any kind of...
They prescribed him some medication.
Okay.
So I am giving him his medication.
Okay. And you're having to bathe him and all those things as well?
Yes.
So do you feel that you're strong enough? You're strong enough to do those things and to continue to do those things?
At the age that I am now, I feel like it really is a big strain on me.
Okay. So tell me about your medical issues right now. You said you went and saw a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and so...
Yeah, I went and saw a
have to say?
doctor, just a regular checkup, and everything's good so far.
Okay. So you weren't having any concerns for your health at all?
No, just that, I've been having, lower back pains lately.
Okay.
And, he told me it might be because picking him up and,
Right.
having to carry him out of bed, just turn him around and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So you're having back pain, and you said earlier that you're feeling really overwhelmed. So do you feel like you're having a lot of stress? Is that how you would characterize what you're feeling?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of stress.
Okay, so I have this stress test here for you, and I wanted to take it with you. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions, and then if you just tell me the answers, and then we'll go over your score.
Okay.
But I just want you to know that these are yes or no questions, and so, sometimes you'll have a maybe or a sometimes, and so we're going to take that into consideration when we're answering these questions, just so that you feel more comfortable and know that it's not definite,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so have you had trouble keeping your mind on what you were doing?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you feel that you couldn't leave your relative alone?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Have you had difficulty making decisions?
No.
Okay. Have you felt completely overwhelmed?
Yes.
Okay. Have you felt lonely?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Have you been upset that your relative has changed so much from his former self?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you felt a loss of privacy and or personal time?
No.
Okay. Have you been edgy or irritable?
No.
Okay. Have you had your sleep disturbed because of caring for your relative?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you had crying spells?
Mm-mm.
Have you felt strained between work and family responsibilities?
No.
Okay. Have you had back pain?
Yes.
Have you felt ill?
Yes.
That's headaches, stomach problems, or the common cold? Any of those?
Headaches.
Okay. Have you been satisfied with the support your family's given you?
No.
Okay. Have you found that your relative's living situation is pretty inconvenient? Okay. And so on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not stressful and 10 being extremely stressful, will you rate your current level of stress?
I would say like about a 7.
Okay. And then on the same scale, with 1 being very healthy and 10 being very ill, will you rate your current health compared to what it was this time last year?
I would have to say it's about at a 6.
Okay. So when we do your score all together, you're at a 10. And so at a 10, that's saying from this test that you experience a high degree of distress or stress. And so that's something that we could be very concerned about because it can continue to affect your health in worse ways than it has already. So we don't want that to happen. So we're going to work on ways for coping that you can overcome that stress. Does that sound okay? All right. So I want to ask a few questions just about your history and just about your life. So will you tell me about you and Mr. Pike's marriage?
Well, we've been married for about 55 years.
Okay. Were those happy years? I mean, can you tell me about your relationship?
I mean, we were always like joking all the time, so like we would always be laughing, like a really happy couple. And of course, it wasn't always like happy times. We did have our rough moments, but we got through them. But definitely, he was my best friend. We were high school sweethearts, so it has been like really tough trying to like get used to like how he is now, because it's like I lost like not only my best friend and my husband at the same time.
Right, so you guys have been together for almost your whole life and just been either friends or just in a relationship or even married for a very long time. So I can imagine that you're just feeling a lot of loss, and I can imagine that contributes to the stress you're feeling.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And tell me about your children. I know that we talked a little bit about them, that one's gone and one's here but ill. So tell me about your relationship with them.
I mean, our relationship's good, but I think it could be better.
Okay.
I mean, I do communicate with my son that's out of state, but not as much as I wish we would.
Okay.
I wish he would like check up on us to see how we're doing, but
yeah,
he doesn't really do that. I feel like he just left us sometimes.
So that's hard for you too. Just losing you feel like you lose your son a little bit when he left. Yeah,
definitely. And then my daughter, she is sick right now, so I'm having to take care of her, but I have a really good close connection with my daughter.
I can imagine that you're just feeling a lot of loss and maybe even some depression about losing, you felt like you lost your son because he moved away, and your daughter's ill, so she's not as close, and then your husband with the stroke. So
yeah, it's really tough. Like sometimes I really do feel like I'm alone, or like I just want to talk to somebody, but
yeah,
I really don't have anybody else.
I know that must be really hard. I hope you can always come and talk to me. I know I'm not family, but I'm always here for you. So
thank you.
Yeah. So I know one thing that you were really strong about the last time we met was not having your husband go into a nursing home, and I don't want to push you towards that at all, but I'm just curious. Why such the strong aversion to, or you don't want to send him there?
Well, when I was growing up, I always remember going with my mom to visit my grandma, and she was in a nursing home before. And I remember we had problems with that. Like, we would always go, and like she was always like, they weren't really taking good care of her. Like, they would leave her like unattended sometimes, or like we just felt like she was neglected. So from then on, like I just had like a bad view, and I mean, she must have been like, it was a while back, like, because my grandma, probably like in the 70s, she was in there, and like ever since then I refuse to let like any of my family members or people that I care about
Okay, that must be a really hard experience, just seeing your grandma have to go through that. And
Mhm.
definitely, you love your husband and you don't want him to go through that.
Mhm.
But I just wanted to let you know that there have been a lot of reforms made and laws in nursing home care, so there's a lot more accountability.
Oh, okay.
And the care is definitely improved. Not that it's perfect, because there are, people who don't do their jobs correctly at times and things like that, but I just want to let you know that it's probably not anything like what you saw when you went in the 70s, so just to
That's
reassure
good.
you a little bit about
Thank
the
you.
care.
That's good to know. I did not know that.
Okay, I'm glad. So could you tell me a little bit about your finances? And is that bringing added stress onto you?
It is, but my son's been taking care of us. Like, he'll send us money and everything.
Okay.
And you helped us out with the Medicaid previously, and that helped. That's how I was able to go to the doctor.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear that. That's really great that your son is, helping to provide for you and kind of give back. So that must be help you a lot.
Yeah. So we do have support through that.
Okay.
With
That's
him.
so good. And so can you tell me a little bit about your health history? I know that you're feeling like you're pretty healthy right now. You're having the back pain and the headaches and stuff. But can you tell me before that, have you had any health issues?
Any serious issues, never really had any.
Mm-hmm.
I do know my grandmother had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom was diagnosed with cancer as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I never have been diagnosed with it or
Okay.
anything.
That's good. So have you been going to your medical doctors to get checkups and mammograms and things like that to ensure that you're preventing that as much as possible?
I've been really bad at that.
Okay.
Now that you helped us out with that, I can go more frequently.
Okay.
But then I just feel like I don't really have time, and because I have to take care of my husband, I don't want to leave him unattended. I don't have anyone to help me.
Right. So maybe if we're able to get some care into your house and we're able, since we have the Medicare, then we'll be able to help you schedule more regular checkups and things like that to ensure your well-being as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And so with all the stress that you're feeling, do you have any ways that you have been coping with that stress? Do you feel like you can do anything or that helps you to cope with that stress and deal with it?
I go to church
Okay,
a lot, and
that's great.
that is one of my biggest support groups is everybody in church, and and our neighbors, they'll come over and talk here and there. So it's really nice whenever I do get company over, so the house isn't as quiet.
Yeah, so you feel like, just talking about things and getting things out, that really helps you a lot?
That really helps me.
Okay, so have you been able to continue to talk with your minister?
I have, actually. He recently asked me how my first visit was with you.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
And how it was going, and he's excited that I'm gonna go on with the process.
I'm really glad to hear that. I'm glad that you have that support of your minister and your neighbors and things. Okay. So can you tell me a little bit about your work history?
Well, I always been a housewife.
Okay.
So I would stay home and always have everything ready for when my husband would come home, and spend time with him. And growing up, I always had jobs on the side, but it was never a set career or anything.
Okay.
Growing up, it was always the ladies were supposed to stay in the house and take care of things like that. So my husband never really wanted me to work.
So you're saying that was something that ladies were supposed to do and had to do. Is that something that you enjoyed doing, or were you ever wishing that you could go on?
Sometimes I did wish that I would have went to school and gotten a career. Now I see a lot of strong women in the workforce, and I do sometimes feel like that could have been me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm happy with my life, how I spent it with him. So
Yeah.
it was
I think we all sometimes have regrets, but I'm glad that you're happy with your life and how it's been. Okay, so do you have any interests and hobbies that you pursue?
I like to knit.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah, so I'll knit scarves or something for the neighborhood kids.
That's so nice of you. Okay. So we talked about that your daughter was in the home with you and you were helping to take care of her as well. So can you tell me about what her care is, what that entails?
I mean, she was diagnosed with cancer as well, so she's been like going through chemo and everything. So
Mhm.
like I'd go with her when she'd had her chemo treatments, and then she'd
Okay.
just come and stay at the house just to make sure like everything is fine,
Okay.
just so I can keep an eye on her.
Okay, that must be really hard for you as well to walk through that with your daughter.
Mhm.
I'm sure you walked through that with your mother and your grandmother as well.
Yeah.
So we talked about your peer groups in your church. Do you have other groups that you're involved with besides just your church, or are you in any like women's ministries or anything like that?
No, I mean the older ladies in my neighborhood like tend to like come out like to try to do like a book club with them.
Oh,
And
that's
so
fun.
like we'll hang out and talk not only about the book, but
Mhm.
we have other things, and it's really nice to have them around as well.
That's really good. I'm so glad you have so many support groups around you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, as an African American woman, do you feel like any of these things that we've talked about like are very important, like in your values? You know, the nursing home, is that part of just your culture that you're?
I definitely do feel like that is a part of my culture.
Mhm.
I mean, I feel that we grow up knowing like that's your family and you take care of your family
Mhm.
no matter what. Like
Mhm.
nobody else can take care of your family as good as family.
Mhm.
And so definitely like family is like our number one, and that's why I feel so strongly about like having other people come in and like try to like take care of my husband. I mean, I'm open to the idea like now that we've talked about it a little bit more.
Right.
But definitely like family and having like your community support you and like
Mhm.
supporting the community as well. Like if others need help, like we're always there to.
That's so great.
Help
That's
them
such a
out.
great thing about you that you have, and that you're just so connected to each other and your family, and just feel that strong commitment. And I can just see how much you love your husband. So,
Mm-hmm.
what you were saying about the caregivers coming in, would you be more comfortable if it was someone just as the same culture as you, so they would maybe recognize those values? Would that be important to you?
I mean, recognizing my values is important, but someone has the same culture. I mean, although I do value my culture a lot, like if somebody else is willing to come in and take care of him, I mean, I'm not gonna tell them no,
Okay.
as long as they respect like my values.
Yeah. That's great. So what you're saying is what you really want is just the respect. That's the bottom line. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter their race or ethnicity or anything.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, that's really great.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of the resources that we've talked about, just kind of your social groups, your church, your minister, just all the people in your church, it sounds like they've really just like come around you and your neighbors. Do you have any extended family that would be able to or has been helping at all?
I mean, I do have like grandkids.
Okay.
I mean, I wish I would see them often.
Mhm.
I don't really see them as much. But my nieces and nephews, like they'll come around and like just check up on us, or like if I need help, like they'll come out and they see the yard needs to get cut, like they'll mow the lawn for us. But I mean, we were close before, but I mean everybody grows up and gets older,
Yeah. that
and
makes
so
sense.
everybody has their own lives already as well.
Okay, so I'm really glad we just got to talk about all these things. And next time when we get together, we're going to talk about really problem solving and what you think is best and what's the first step for us to take together.
Okay.
I'm really glad to see you and that you came back today.
Thank you.
Would
You
you
too.
like for us to arrange the transportation again for next time?
Yes, please. I would definitely need the transportation.
All right. Well, it was good to
All
see
right.
you today.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.